Hi there, I'm Katrina Knox and my job title on the Red Arrows is RAF photographer. So it does vary day to day. The main job that we have on RAFat is the safety filming. So every time the guys go up to practice for a display, we're on the ground filming for safety purposes. But they also use the video to debrief. So when they're working up towards the season, they can look at the video and say, so say one's just out slightly, they can say, you're just off slightly. They do use a lot of their own words to describe it. So sat in a debrief, I was confused as anything. But then other jobs that we can do, so because we're on a flying squadron, there's engineering work. So if they need any images of any damage to the aircraft, we take those to send off reports and things like that. Ident photos, so anybody arriving to the squadron, we also take their photos to put on the photo boards and things like that. But then because it's such a high profile squadron, we have visits. So we can follow the visits round and take photos of those and group photos so that we can send them on to the visitors. So my granddad actually inspired me. He was the one that got me into photography, just because he used to have a camera with him every time we visited. We'd go to the beach, he'd have the camera, we'd go out just for a day out, he'd have the camera. So I always was interested from a very young age. My uncle started doing it as well. And I was one of those kids, always had the little disposable cameras, taking photos of everything from a blade of grass right through to a family picture. So my mum was like, right, I'm not spending all this money to develop all these films. So my uncle gave me his old camera, and then it just developed from there. And I come from a military background as well. So parents were both military, grandparents were military, and I didn't realise that you could put the two together. And somebody said, you do know you can be a photographer in the Air Force? I was like, really? So that's when it kind of sparked in my brain to say, that's what you need to do and that's the job that you want. And I did, I went for it and here I am. So personally, it's probably fitness for me. So obviously you have to be physically fit to be in the military. I had a base level of fitness when I first started to train to join up, but I still needed to push myself a little bit further. So I'd go out on runs on my lunch breaks, I'd go to gym circuits. I'd do as much as I can to get that level of fitness up. Most important in my job is probably creativity. They do all apply to the job. We need all of those skills to get on with the job properly. But creativity for our job is quite a big one, because obviously photography is a creative art. So just having that picture in your mind and knowing what you want from the image and then going out and creating it. I think most people that join as photographers, they've got quite a creative mind anyway. And it's just developing that creativeness to get the imagery out there, especially in a job role like this. Anybody can take a picture of a red arrow in the sky with just a blue background, but for us it's more about the environment and where they are. So especially at air shows, we try and capture the crowd or a specific landmark. So when they displayed over Blackpool, I was able to get the Blackpool Tower in the image just to show you that where they are. So it's that kind of thing as well. So if you've got an image in mind, you try your best to get into position and figure out where that is. What I most enjoy about my job is creating, actually. So we're not just photographers, we do video as well, so we're videographers as well. So writing out a storyboard for a video, especially because I like to do a lot of stuff for International Women's Day or Women in Engineering Day. So having that storyboard and writing things out and knowing what shots I need and then the transitions to go from one shot to the other, I think that for me always keeps me creative. What don't I like about my job? There's not a lot I don't like about my job. I think some of the mundane imagery that we need to capture, so like the engineering or the idents, they have to be specific. So with the engineering imagery, you have to capture exactly what's there. You can't use creative lighting, you can't have a weird angle, you need to capture exactly what's there. So sometimes it can take your creativity away a little bit, but it's part of the job, you know, and you take the good with the bad. So throughout my career, I've only been in for 7 years. I won't say the most exciting, but I think just being able to go to places that you don't normally get to go to as a civilian. Another iconic image for me was only last year. So we were out in the Middle East for our Middle Eastern tour, and I captured the red arrows coming over the pyramid with a sphinx in the foreground. So that for me was quite an iconic image, and I personally didn't like it at first, but the more I looked at it, and I was like, no, actually that's quite an impressive photo. One piece of advice I'd give to anybody, and I've taken this on board as well, is don't let anything knock you back. If there's something somebody says to you, no, you can't do that, if it's something that you can improve on and you can practice and train for, do it. If you really, really want the job, you go for it. You know, if there's something that holds you back that you physically can't control, then that's okay. You know, it's out of your control. You can't then improve on it. So if you really want a job and you can train and improve yourself, then go for it. Don't let anything hold you back.